Hello everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for watching, and this is the weekly reading. It's for October 10th to the 16th, 2016, and I'm so glad to be back. I've had a break and I'm back doing readings again. So just quickly, if you'd like a personal reading with me, I'll put the link to my Etsy store below, which I reopened yesterday. Turnaround time is up to 13 days at the moment. And it could be a bit longer if you order something like a typed astrology report. So it depends what you order, but I'll let you know. And that's roughly what the turnaround time is. And I'm, as usual, I'm going to talk about the astrology, and I'm going to talk about, the influences for the week, and touch on next week just a little bit because there's something significant coming up. And then I'm going to pull some tarot cards from the Archangel Power Tarot deck, which I have right here. Okay, so firstly, this week, a couple of things. Venus trine Chiron on Tuesday. So this is a very interesting energy. What I feel with this, and it's been sort of, an influence that's already around from last week, but it is exact on Tuesday. So there is some kind of healing here around relationships and possibly to do with finances. It could be that, especially people that have water energy around 21, 22 degrees, so water being Cancer, Scorpio or Pisces, you may find that there's something that's healing, that maybe some help that comes financially, or something positive in a relationship. Something is soothed in a relationship that was troubling previously. There is some kind of healing in this area. So, Venus is to do with relationships, love and finances. So that's why I say that. And it's I would say it's something to do with a commitment or, work, maybe a partnership where you have, if it's financial, it could be like, your joint finances and working out your joint finances with your partner, or it could be somebody helps you in some way, or somebody that cares for you, shows support to you in some way. Again, I say that's more specifically for the water signs, but it could also have effects with other signs. But the water signs stand out with that particular one on Tuesday. So that's a nice one. On Wednesday, the energy shifts a little bit in regards to that with Venus there. So there's a bit more tension that sort of becomes present on Wednesday. So, if someone has, done something that is positive, you may have to make some kind of readjustment to the way that you see a situation. So it could be, as I said, it's a healing thing that happens on Tuesday, but again, the next day it's kind of got you thinking about, how am I going to work with this energy? So, say, for example, if you came up with an idea about tackling your finances with your partner, then the next day you'll be like really thinking about it and realizing that, you will have to commit to this, and you might have to pay for something that, or pay off a debt, for example, and then you have to spend less money on what you really want to spend money on, so that type of thing. The other major news this week is that there's two things to do with Mercury. So Mercury square Mars. So I'd say be careful with what you say this week, because also Mercury is going to be conjuncting with Jupiter, and it's in Libra. So that's to do with, I would say, communications in social situations and also in relationships. So if you have a relationship situation that is, on rocky turf at the moment, or a bit unstable at the moment, just be careful what you say this week, because it can come across very blunt with this energy. We can be overly blunt or overly... we could be, because of the Mercury conjunct Jupiter, we could be really enthusiastic and a bit over the top. But then Mercury square Mars could be also a bit blunt and a bit tactless. So, just be careful with your communications this week is basically what I'm saying. And kind of, think about what you're going to say before you say it, because it could come back to bite you a little bit this week. The other thing with the astrology is that I really wanted to mention was, and this is actually happening more so next week, but it's already building up, is the Mars conjunct Pluto transit. So this is a big one. What I would say is, if you know your astrology chart, look at where Capricorn is in your chart, because Mars and Pluto are going to be traveling together. If you're used to looking at your chart and transits, you'll see Mars and Pluto traveling together, coming up next week through Capricorn in your chart. So, have a look at that, because that could bring some kind of intense energy. Basically, Mars and Pluto together, it's very potentially explosive energy, but it's kind of like a tension that builds and builds and builds to, you know, where you just need to release emotion or you release something. So, you know, it's not an easy transit. It's going to be, I think I wrote down Wednesday, Thursday next week. It's exact. I have to double check that, but I will mention it again next week, because it's, you know, it's an influence this week, but it's next week is the key time for it. Anyway, I will go to the cards now and see what's coming up this week. I'll just get a drink of water. So I've actually missed doing the weekly reading, and I just wanted to say also, you know, please subscribe to my other channel, which is the channel that I feature this weekly reading, where I do the astrology and the intuitive reading. That is a separate channel to my main channel. The channel where you can find this reading is Starlight Oracle Weekly Readings. Okay, so let's see what I'm drawn to. Oops, there we go. That one's falling out, and this one. Oh, which one do I want to get? No, I want to get that one. Okay, so let's see what comes up. The Queen of Raphael, which is the Queen of Cups. The Knight of... Wow, interesting. Oh, gosh. Okay, so... Wow, this is very specifically talking about relationships here. Very specifically. Okay, so let's just focus here first. So we have the Queen of Raphael. This is the Queen of Cups in traditional traditional tarot, rather. So it says kind, understanding, giving, psychic. Follow your heart, a love of home and family, trustworthy psychic information. What I feel with this card is this woman, you know, whoever she represents in your life, and it could represent a part of you. So if you're a male, it could be that feminine part of you, that psychic part of you, the intuitive part of you, or that creative part of you if you're a male, or it could be a woman in your life. If you're a female, this is going to be representing you. So what I would say with this is this card is talking about this week really focusing on what your gut instincts are telling you, what your intuition is telling you, what your guidance is telling you, and that should, you know, be where you go to for your wisdom, not so much, you know, always looking to the external for answers. You know, we always, and when we do look to the external, you know, we always have to reflect it back within and ask ourselves, is this information, does this resonate with me or does it not resonate with me? So this card is saying you are very intuitive, and you are, you know, you may even have psychic ability yourself, and a lot of people, you know, have dormant psychic ability if they haven't, you know, practiced it. So it's about tapping into that more and listening and trusting yourself in life, because if you don't trust yourself, ultimately other people will not trust you. So you have to come to that sort of maturity in yourself, and that's what this card is saying, is that you are becoming more and more strengthened in your intuition, in your psychic ability, in your higher perceptions, and in your innate emotional intelligence and your wisdom. So that's a really good card. If you're a male and, you know, this card is around you, what I'm feeling here is it could be some support from a female around you who has very good advice for you. I feel like there's a very strong supportive energy. So, you know, I always get sort of double and sometimes several meanings in one card. Obviously, this is a general reading. There's a lot of people watching. So, you know, sometimes I feel that another message is coming out. And I do want to say that for some people, this message, you know, whether you're male or female, this message is about someone else offering you support. A female who has wisdom, who has insight, who has life experience. And she's seen a lot, but she is very sensitive and empathic as well. And she's intuitive. So somebody giving to you, somebody being kind to you and offering you some kind of help or assistance this week. Next, we have the Knight of Raphael. So we have a younger, you know, when I say younger, I don't mean child. I mean, you know, usually it's a male in their early 20s. If it's an older male that's around you, sometimes this card can indicate a lack of maturity or a lack of personal insight into themselves, because it's kind of a young-ish individual who is, you know, maybe sees things in a very simplistic way, or in a, you know, they can sometimes be a bit more of a selfish person. That's kind of the heavier side of this card, but it does say romantic, dramatic, poetic, introspective, and it does talk of romantic connections. Now, this card here is the Five of Cups, so it's showing that there is some disappointment in some aspect and a need to let go, and this could be something for some people to do with the past. And this could also be to do with the astrology where I mentioned the Venus-Chiron connection, because Venus in Scorpio, trining Chiron in Pisces. This could be, you know, even though it's a trine, sometimes what it can relate to is you know, the trine is a healing aspect, and I'm seeing how the astrology is connecting with these cards, which is why I'm mentioning this. There may be a situation from your past that you do need to let go of, and you've been aware of this for some time now. This could be a very long-standing thing, or it could be, you know, in the last 6 months to a year. But there could be somebody that you've had a very strong soul connection with, but you just know that it's not meant to be. That relationship is not meant to be. So I'm just speaking very generally with this. She's walking away from, you know, these empty boxes, and there's a lack of fulfillment here of a situation that there may have been some romantic hopes around, but it's, you know, it didn't work out. And it doesn't mean that you don't have a soul connection with this person. It doesn't mean that on a higher level there is strong love between the two of you. But it's saying for now, for here and now, that situation, you know, you may experience some healing in the way that you see the situation from a higher perspective, is what I'm getting at, because I still am getting this healing message with this. For some reason, I'm drawn to this red light here in this card, and it's really, I'll just move that a bit closer, it's really drawing my attention. What I'm feeling is she's almost looking at that red light, which is bizarre, but that's how it looks to me right now. She may not actually be looking at it in the artwork, but that's how it seems to me. And what I'm getting with that is that she's going towards her passion, that this energy around this situation was draining her vitality, and she's going towards her calling, her passion in life now. It's time for her to move forward from the situation. So when I say her, you know, it doesn't have to be that this is specifically towards a woman. It could be male or female, moving away from an old soul connection. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of spiritual energy, though, with these cards, and I feel like on a higher level the two of you are very, very connected, but in this lifetime it's like you're moving on from that situation. Now, I heard the word just then, teaching, so I feel like for some people there was very deep lessons involved in this, very deep lessons about love involved in this, but there is a moving on from this. And I do feel for some, I don't know, it could be someone specific I'm getting, there is a new relationship that's been around you, or some kind of new connection that is more fulfilling in some ways. So yeah, I'm just going to see if I get any other messages with this before I finish up. It's gone a bit longer than normal for my weekly reading, but yeah, so yeah, I also want to say for some people, just be wary of someone who, I'm really getting a strong energy on this card now. For someone, this could also tie in with other messages, but it could be a separate message for somebody that is really seeking your attention. But what I want to say is it's almost like it's not about you. It's kind of about where they're coming from mentally. Like for some people, it's like this is an annoyance, or this is a person that you're not interested in. As I said, I could be speaking to just one or two people, or even just one person with this. And I'm feeling like for whoever this message is for, like, yes, move on from this person, because, and you know this already. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. It's just a confirmation or a validation for you. And also I just want to say with this card here, another message is, you know, if you've had messages come to you on a gut level, on an intuitive level, to trust in those messages, trust in your intuition, because what I'm getting is listening to your gut feeling and your knowing is at this time more important than you know, what other people are saying to you, or what your conditioning from your past is, that type of thing. All right, so that was the reading. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a fantastic week. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.